Mike Pence's grandfather, Richard Michael Colley, was born in Ireland and he grew up in a small village in County Mayo, where he witnessed the Irish War of Independence and the Irish Civil War. He decided to leave his homeland and seek a better life in America. He arrived in New York in 1923 and joined his brother and uncle in Chicago. He became a streetcar driver and a proud American citizen. In Chicago, he met and married Mary Elizabeth Maloney, a teacher and a second-generation Irish American. They had 5 children, one of whom was Nancy, Mike Pence's mother. Nancy inherited her father's pride in his Irish heritage, his sense of humor, his admiration for John F. Kennedy and Franklin D. Roosevelt, and his love of music and singing. Nancy also inherited her father's political affiliation. Richard Colley was a lifelong Democrat who supported the New Deal and the Civil Rights Movement. He admired JFK as the first Irish Catholic president and voted for him, and he also voted for FDR 4 times and considered him a hero. But Nancy's political views changed over time. She became disillusioned with the Democratic Party after the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal. She was attracted to the conservative values and pro-life stance of the Republican Party. She also admired Ronald Reagan as a strong leader who restored America's confidence and prosperity. Nancy passed on her political views to her son Mike, who was born and Mike grew up in a devout Catholic family that attended Mass every Sunday. He was influenced by his mother's faith and his grandfather's stories of Ireland. He also developed an interest in politics and history. Mike was initially a Democrat as well. He idolized JFK as a young boy and volunteered for the local Democratic Party as a teenager. He even voted for Jimmy Carter, but he soon became disillusioned with Carter's policies and switched to the Republican Party. He was inspired by Reagan's vision of America as a shining city on a hill. Mike went on to become a lawyer, a radio host, a congressman, a governor, and eventually the Vice President of the United States. He has always been proud of his Irish roots and his grandfather's legacy. He has visited Ireland several times and met with Irish leaders and relatives. He has also celebrated St. Patrick's Day with his family every year. Mike Pence's grandfather was a man who left his homeland for a better life in America. He was a man who loved his family, his country, and his faith. He was a man who shaped his granddaughters' and his grandsons' lives in profound ways. He was a man who inspired Mike Pence to grow a spine and confront Trump's crimes. In this section, we will explore how Pence's grandfather taught him to recite Humpty Dumpty in Irish when he was a toddler, and how he visited his ancestral home in Newcastle, County Mayo, after his grandfather's death. And Pence's grandfather, Richard Michael Colley, was born in 1902 in a small village called Newcastle, in County Mayo, Ireland. He was the son of a tailor and grew up during a turbulent time of Irish history, witnessing the War of Independence and the Civil War. He decided to leave Ireland in 1923 and join his brother and uncle in America, where he hoped to find a better life. He arrived in New York on April 11, 1923, on board the S.S. Antonia, and then made his way to Chicago, where he settled in a vibrant Irish community. He became a streetcar driver and married a teacher named Mary Elizabeth Maloney. They had 4 children, one of whom was Nancy, Pence's mother. Pence was very close to his grandfather, who he called Pop. He was named after him and inherited his gray eyes. His grandfather taught him about his Irish heritage and culture, and even taught him how to recite Humpty Dumpty in Gaelic when he was a toddler.